sure that's not true, but and it's time. Yes. Yeah, but it's worth knowing. And I guess my other question for you is, as I close my sermon, oftentimes I will offer some words, and the shalom, that's the closing hymn. It's all. Good, good, good. Oh, how lovely. I'm not shaking hands, but I'm so glad to meet you. I'm Carolyn, and you are, yes, you are, Allison. Lovely. I would never say I'm a male colleague, of course, but I might say you look great. I often tell that guy. Yeah. Right? In so many ways. So many ways. All the time. Sometimes we really, work on making ourselves nice. So it's nice to have an hour sometimes. What? BEI is the clothing I have, but yes, but your blue is picking up the detail. Nice, nice. So we were just discussing very briefly sort of where do people come from theologically, and I'm only asking because sometimes I'll say a word or two at the end, like in an amen or a shalom. And those are typical for me, amen, shalom. I usually say amen, blessed be, may it be so, at the end of my sermons. Jesus is really and I might, with the congregation that is not I'm a visitor here, and I'm so glad to be here. It's okay. That was good. I always say shalom because we have so many people. Really? So this congregation is a congregation of a Jewish congregation called UUFR. Stay open. So a few of their folks are actually out doing our services. That's nice. A huge number of people together. Oh, because very, very, very new unions. Good. Well, I have something in here about new unions.
We could do those two numbers. Stay around for a few minutes.
Best of luck then. Good morning. Caution, do not move this podium. Is that good? Or maybe this is better. 77 years ago, our foremothers and fathers. How are we doing? Tell me when I am ready. Okay, thumbs up. Excellent. That's enough of that.
He was always very impressed.
It has the a coda.
But it's kind of fun. He could do anything.
The only one, it would be good if we could sing all three verses on 331, if there's enough time. With the other ones, we don't need to sing all the verses. There's some more copies in the music room. Oh, here, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell the story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and with God our hearts within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place. come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right.
Yeah, 331.
We just do maybe one verse? Yeah,
So we're going to do Gift to Be Simple twice, though.
yeah. Life is the greatest gift of all, the riches on this earth. Life and its creatures, great and small, of high and lowly birth. So treasure it and measure
Good morning. Whether you are here in person or watching at home, it's good to be with you this morning. It's good for all of us to be together. As we gather today, I would like to share some words with you by the poet Pat Schneider. Instructions for the journey. The self you leave behind is only a skin you have outgrown. Don't grieve for it. Look to the wet, raw, unfinished self, the one you are becoming. The world, too, sheds its skin. Politicians, cataclysms, ordinary days. It's easy to lose this tenderly unfolding moment. Look for it, as if it were the first green blade after a long winter. Listen for it, as if it were the first clear tone in a place where dawn is heralded by bells. And if all that fails, wash your own dishes. Rinse them. Stand in your kitchen at your sink. Let cold water run between your fingers. Feel it. Come, my friends, with our hearts open to both the challenges and possibilities that this new day and new week bring, with our hearts open to all that inspires, sustains, redeems, and transforms us. Come, let us worship together.
The flaming chalice is the symbol of the Unitarian Universalist tradition, the liberal religious tradition to which this congregation belongs. Will those of you here in person please rise in body or spirit for our chalice lighting? And if you have a chalice at home, I invite you to light it with us at this time. As we kindle this flame, we recommit ourselves to nurturing the spirits of one another and the common good of the world we share. May the light of this flame be welcoming to all who seek a liberal religious home. For those of you who are already standing, I invite you to remain standing for our opening hymn. Our opening hymn this morning is 1008, When Your Heart is in a Holy Place.
When your heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we feel the power in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the comfort of our hearts within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Hello again, everyone. Thanks for talking back to me. I appreciate it. My name is Allison, and I am one of your worship associates. If you are visiting us for the first time this morning, I'd like to welcome you especially. Here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Raleigh, we are intentionally inclusive, liberally religious, and actively serving the common good of our shared world. Whoever you are, and wherever you are on your own spiritual journey, you are welcome here. If you are visiting for the first time in person, I invite you to stop by our welcome stand in the foyer. If you have not already done so, you can fill out our visitor form, get a spiffy-looking name tag, and pick up one of our pamphlets to find out more about UUFR and Unitarian Universalism. If you are visiting us online this morning, I invite you to fill out our visitor form at www.uufr.org/visitor form. If you do this, you'll start receiving our weekly e-newsletter. UUFR members can also pick up one of our new business cards at the welcome stand. If you've ever been talking to family, neighbors, coworkers, or friends and wanted to give them an easy way to find out more about UUFR and Unitarian Universalism, it's very useful to have at least one of those cards with you. For those few who cannot recite all 7 principles by heart. This morning, Eleanor Goodwin, one of our lay ministers, will be available in the front right corner of the sanctuary after the service to talk with anyone who might be experiencing any difficult circumstances in their lives and would like to talk to somebody. I hope all of you will read through the chalice you received by email on Thursday about everything happening here around UUFR, and I'd like to highlight just a few things. Next Saturday, we will be having a work day here at UUFR, so please join us in working on our building and grounds. You can stop by a table downstairs to find out more. During our worship service next Sunday, on November the 5th, we will hold a ritual of remembrance to recall all those UUFR members who have died during the past 12 months, as well as any other loved ones we hold in our hearts. Anyone is invited to bring a picture of your loved one who has died and put it on one of the tables at the front of the sanctuary for the service. After the service on Sunday, we will have both a Holy Bowly potluck and an auction celebration with some special entertainment. So please join us next Sunday after the service. Our in-person social hour this morning will be downstairs in Founders Hall. And now I invite you to turn and meet and greet your neighbor.
There's going to be plenty of time to continue those conversations during social hour. This is the time in our service when we acknowledge some of the joys and the sorrows of our community. We do this because we believe that a joy shared is a joy made greater, and a sorrow shared is made easier to bear. Anyone is invited to email a joy or sorrow to joysandsorrows@uufr.org before 9 a.m. on Sunday. And anyone is also invited to light a candle before the service, and if you wish, fill out one of our cards so that your joy or sorrow can be shared during the service to the congregation. Becky Elliott shares the news that her dad, Elmo Red Elliott, died early this morning at the age of 93 after a long and well-lived life. The nursing staff at the hospital reported that he died quickly, peacefully, and with a smile on his face. Emilio and Becky are with their family in Northwest Indiana. Any and all thoughts, prayers, love, and blessings are welcome. Jay Gudeman shares the news that his mother died on Wednesday at the age of 91. Jay and his siblings will be connected to a Zoom of her memorial service today. Jay, we hold you in our hearts during this time of grief. Lucy Bradley shares the news that 18-year-old Nicholas Melomo entered hospice this week after a long, courageous journey with bone cancer. She asks that we please hold him and his family and friends in our hearts. Connie Baker has asked before for prayers and healing energies for her dear friend in Maryland, Donna Brinzer. Yesterday, Donna's longtime partner announced that Donna is under hospice care at home and near the end of her life. And Connie asks for continued prayers and for comfort for Donna and her partner, as well as Donna's family and for everybody who loves her. The Raymond family would like to share that Papa's surgery was successful. He will be resting at home for the next couple of months, and the family is excited to see him at Christmas. Mark Turnbull wants to share the joy that he had at seeing so many of our kids have a great time on Saturday at the trunk or treat. And he also wants to extend his thanks to all of the families that hosted trunks for the kids to stop at. The costumes and the decorations were wonderful. And Wendy Gates Corbett is delighted to share that she has been appointed to the Board of Trustees for Guilford College, her undergrad alma mater. It is important to her to do what she can to promote the positive impact of the liberal arts education on individuals, communities, and the world. Congratulations, Wendy. So as we hold all of these shared joys and sorrows in our hearts, and we reflect on those joys and sorrows and fears and hopes of our own lives, let's be together now for a time of stillness and silence, opening ourselves up to that spirit within us and amidst us, called by many names but known to every human heart, that leads us toward a deeper, fuller, richer experience of life. After the silence, we will sing hymn number 16, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple," but for now, let's be together in stillness and in silence.
Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
Everything we do at UUFR is only made possible because of the generous financial support so many of you provide. If you would like to make a contribution this morning, we invite you to bring it forward and put it on one of our offering plates at the head of each aisle. If you have mobility challenges, please feel free to raise your hand and an usher will come to you to collect your contribution. You may also give using one of the methods on our screen, which will be up in just a second. It is now time for our offering. Please be generous. The Reverend Carolyn Price has been a Unitarian Universalist minister and an organizational consultant to UU congregations since 2004. New to the Triangle, she is enjoying the area immensely and is delighted to be leading worship today. Please warmly welcome Reverend Carolyn to UUFR.
Thank you, and thanks also to those who have helped in the leading of worship this morning. Our reading comes from the Reverend Victoria Safford. Once, in an old cemetery, I found a strangely soothing epitaph. The name of the deceased and the dates had been scoured away by wind and rain, but there was a carving still of roots and branches, and among them these words: "She attended well and faithfully to a few worthy things." Now, at first this seemed to me a little meager, sparse, but I've thought about it and I have since changed my mind. She attended well and faithfully to a few worthy things. Because what I've come to see is that actually every day I stand in danger of being struck by lightning and having these words written about me for all the world to see. She attended frantically and ineffectually to a great many unimportant things. She asks, "How do you want your epitaph to read?" He balanced his checkbook with meticulous precision, never missed a day of work, missed a lot of sunsets, missed a lot of love, a lot of risk, missed a lot, but his money was in order. She answered her email, all her voicemail, but along the way, she forgot to answer the call to service and compassion and forgiveness, perhaps especially to herself. He gave and forgave sparingly, without radical intention, without passion or conviction. She could not, would not, hear the calling of her own heart. If you had to name a few worthy things to which you attend well and faithfully, to be set in stone about you, I wonder, what would they be? We welcome special music, and with that, at its close, the full thanksgiving of the congregation. I dedicate this sermon to the Reverend Carolyn who died unexpectedly last week at 84. Carolyn was the first woman president of the Unitarian Universalist Service Association and the first woman president of the Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association. She very nearly was the first president of our entire Unitarian Universalist Association, losing by 100 votes. She was a beloved mentor and friend to me. Carolyn, thank you for teaching me what it is to attend well and faithfully to a few worthy things. Years ago, General Assembly, which is our annual gathering of Unitarian Universalist, or UUs if you're new here, from across the country, Met in Charlotte, right? Well, I don't know direction yet. I'm still new. Where Charlotte is. I was there along with my now spouse, Orville. Orville, wave at the nice people. Good. At the time, we had not been partnered long. One morning, we got up to sightsee. Orville was so excited to explore downtown, but me, I'd spotted this beautiful old cemetery. And that was where we went. I was happily strolling there amidst the gravestones, taking in the old stonework and the inscriptions. Orville walked beside me, but one of his eyebrows was stuck, I think not for the first time, in a raised position. Not sure of what he'd done by partnering with a UU minister. We'd been there no more than 5 minutes, when we hear, "Carolyn Price, wouldn't you just know I'd find you here?" It was a friend, another UU minister, just gaily shouting at us from across the graveyard. So delighted was she to see us that she literally skipped over to join us. Now, Orville would go on to tell this story whenever he could. He liked to call it those gleeful ministers in the graveyard, as proof somehow that we UU clergy are perhaps some ways from normal. It could be. Not long afterwards, I found this reading from the Reverend Elea Kempler. She says, at a minister's retreat, someone read a passage about why ministers make people feel uncomfortable. It's because we dress in earth-colored clothes, and when we shake hands with people, we hold their hand just a second too long, and we gaze into their faces earnestly, saying, "How are you?" All the ministers in the room howled with laughter. But the passage went on to say that maybe the real reason that people can find ministers odd and may not really want us at their parties, even if they invite us, it's because we're too comfortable with death. Like funeral directors, we don't respect our society's fear of things related to serious illness and dying. We go striding into hospitals and sick rooms like it's nothing, like it's no big deal. Now, I don't think it's as clear-cut as all that, especially now, but with so many assertions of truth as with that, there is some factual basis. This morning, we are going to wander a bit ourselves, metaphorically speaking, into the graveyard. Questions may come up like, what does my life say? How might it be described when it's over or summed up? Is it my accomplishments, my experiences, maybe my relationships, family, partners, friends? Could it be my personality and the imprint that has made? My passions? What will remain after I am gone to tell of the life that I lived? If you've ever walked in a graveyard, you know already some of these ideas. You've seen the words, beloved father and husband. She was a friend to all. Our beautiful baby gone too soon. These are epitaphs, the words engraved on a person's grave, tomb, or plaque. They might be written by those close to the dead or by the person themselves before death. In a few words, a short phrase, they might describe that person. They might laud them. they might sum up that life in a few clear words. Many tell of a wish for that person by those who live on to remember, as in the most common phrase of all. Can you think of it? Rest in peace. Others describe the facts of the matter. Here lies Byron Vickers, died October 10, 1887, the second fastest draw in town. Some like to make a joke on themselves. Here lies John Yeast. Forgive me for not rising. Sometimes, though, all it takes is one word. Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, right? Poets, not surprisingly, like to use poems for their epitaphs. For example, this ditty from John Donne. Reader, I am to let thee know, Donne's body only lies below, for could the grave his soul comprise, earth would be richer than all the skies. Or Robert Frost, I had a lover's quarrel with the world. Emily Dickinson, true to form, kept hers short, enigmatic, called back. Some epitaphs tell of lives lived in service, of ideals held high. Unitarian Susan B. Anthony is remembered this way: liberty, humanity, justice, equality. Or this from a stone in Arlington Cemetery: Colin Luther Powell, General, United States Army, Vietnam, Persian Gulf. Some accomplishments seem less lofty, or do they? Like this one from Minnesota, raised 4 beautiful daughters with 1 bathroom, and still there was love. Some like to have the last word, like this one from a Georgia cemetery: I told you I was sick. And our last example: well, you living folks my tomb do view, remember well, there's yet room for you. Now, our religious tradition, Unitarian Universalism, exists to be a force for good. It does. But also, in the ways of the prophet of old, it exists to counter the culture in which we live. And our culture still does not like to speak much of death, nor to think of it much either until we must. But here, it is and it can be different. Here, we have one another. Here, we can do what we so often cannot do out there because of this good company, because of these good people who you all have chosen to be your people. What would you say, and maybe some of you have done this exercise, if you had to write your own epitaph? How would you summarize your time on earth? What few worthy things did you attend to well and faithfully? Would it be the work you did, whether for pay or not? That's work too. The dog is working. Was it perhaps as we sung, or as we heard in the hymn, the depth and the breadth of your love. Maybe what you did to leave the world a better place. It might be through the life force of creation that moved in you through art or word or music or more. It doesn't matter this morning if you are young or old, if you think you have 50 years left, or if you wonder just how many more Sundays you might get to sit out here. As most of us know, death is under no obligation to send out a save the date card. Things happen, creeks rise. Tragedy is undeniable. Now, I am not asking any of you to skip across a graveyard this morning, real or imagined, only to think and to feel as truly and deeply as you are able here about this topic. What if we start with something light, easy, but maybe also true? He loved whippoorwills. She was born to be in the water. They were their own person, whatever that was, for all of their life. What might you say in that spirit? Now, still going at your own rate, consider one small, maybe more serious thing that you have attended to. My God, she could sing. She's singing still. Generous of heart, wise of mind. He spread love for all his days. It is good to think on these things. It is even better to speak of them, which you can do here in this congregation like perhaps no other place, among these people, your people here. Why do ministers skip in graveyards? To most of us, I think they are not forbidden places. And because religion has long been a container for holding and for growing our thinking about such things. And most of all, I believe, because of time, by which I mean the certain knowledge that this time, now, here, today, is all the time that we can truly be sure of. Having considered a bit how your life might speak, what words would do it, would do you justice. What is also true is that if you don't like what you see written, what you read in this brief foray into the land of graveyards, there may yet be time for change. There may. Consider Raymond Carver. He was an accomplished American author, yet he spent whole decades lost in a wreckage of alcohol misuse. It wasn't until he was 40 years old that he began what he would call for the rest of his life, his miraculous second life. He met the writer Tess Gallagher, and they fell in love. Together, they made a home where Carver became filled not just with the clear, bright air of sobriety, and true love, but with poetry, a genre that he'd never written in before, but which now seemed to fill him like the very breath he breathed. He was given only 10 years of that miraculous second life. During that time, on a beautiful summer day, after years together, he and Gallagher married. 6 weeks later, Raymond Carver died of cancer. But for this man, these unexpected years gave him everything, everything. Shortly before his death, he described that in a poem. You can read it still on his gravestone. It says, "And did you get what you wanted from this life after all? I did. And what did you want? To call myself beloved, to feel myself beloved upon this earth." Remember, if you are here this morning, hopefully, probably, there are days and years ahead of you still. And the words to describe that time and the few worthy things that you choose to attend to faithfully and well, those words are not yet written. Finally, what 25 years in our UU congregations have given me as veritas, truth, here in your house of memory and hope, whether this is your first morning or one morning among thousands, whether you have gone skipping with me or dragging across our imagined graveyard, you are beloved. You are held in the living circle of care that is this congregation and loved for all your days here. And even then, even after, you will be held here still in love for as long as memory abides and for as long as words exist to tell of it. So now, call yourself beloved. Feel yourself beloved upon this earth. Amen. Shalom and namaste.
Life is the greatest gift of all the riches on this earth. Life and its creatures, great and small, of high and lowly birth. So treasure it and measure it with deeds of shining worth. Mind is the greatest gift of all, its thoughts no barrier mars. It seeks creation's hidden plan, its quest surmounts all bars. Its treasure gains the wind, rains the storm, it weighs the outmost stars. We are the life, its shining gift, Up from the dust our temples lift, our vision soars on wings. For seed and root, for flower and fruit, our grateful spirit sings.
As we end this time of worship together, may we do so with ever more love for one another, with ever more gratitude for this precious gift of life we share this very day, with ever more peace in our hearts and ever more hope for our own lives and this world we share. Peace be with all of you.